Red Yenta, Red Yenta, Red Yenta. You know, the famous moment in Fiddler on the Roof. It's actually the famous moment. It's from the stage adaptation of Bolshevik on the Roof, and that is the name of a new dating service for socialists in the absolute center of world communism, Brooklyn, New York. Hi, everybody. I'm Bill Whittle here with Steve Green and Scott Ott talking to you about this latest dating service, which you absolutely have got to check out. Boy, if you want to meet a collection of loving women with a great deal of respect for strong husbands and strong men whose entire mission in life is to protect women and keep them from harm, then Red Yenta is got to be your place. Steve and Scott, I think probably the best way to do this is to simply say that and we owe this to Dave Thompson blog, by the way, via Instapundit. There's a little meeting in Brooklyn, and a bunch of socialists get together, and they're talking about the impact they're having on society. And then they mention two podcasters who I've never heard before, and then they mentioned a woman who's actually about to change the world and bring about the world's workers' paradise, because she's going to start. How did they describe it? Oh, it's a Marxist feminist glossy called Lux, named for Rosa Luxemburg. So a paper magazine.
Wow.
Dedicated to 100-and-something-year-old socialist is gonna change the world and all of this. Now that's not the part. I'm not interested in the socialism on this. Here's what's interesting to me. I'm interested in the kind of people that are attracted to this because they call themselves socialists, and I'm curious to know what kind of people they are. In other words, by starting a dating service for socialists, and when people write out their profile, you get to find out what kind of people are attracted to socialism. So let's start with you, Steve. These are, again, David Thompson did some polls. These are some of the, just highlights from some of the ads for people who are looking to date, for socialists who are looking to date other socialists. Okay. And I know all three of us are happily married, but Steve, I'm really at this point, I'm talking about, whether this is going to get your adrenaline flowing and whether this would be somebody you would like to have met before you got married.
All right. I'm keeping an open
Libertarian
mind.
Socialist, 28, she, her, seeks similar, 27 to 35, he, him, to join forces against non-consensual power dynamics, capitalism, white supremacy, etc. Now, tell me, look, pal, I don't mean to be crass, but you want to talk about a fun backseat date. This has got to be the all-time favorite.
70s Playboy was just the absolute best Playboy, and I think we found the exact opposite of that right here.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah. The spiritual opposite, yes. Of Barbie Benton.
Gosh, you know what? I'm picturing the advertising for Red Yenta. What is it? The dating app where every swipe is to the left.
Actually, I'm sorry you said that, because that is such a brilliant marketing campaign for them. Swipe left to win. But I'm sure they haven't figured that out. Just as in the real world, you swipe right for winners and you swipe left for losers.
Now, see, as a liberty-loving person, I'm in awe that somebody came up with an idea, a way to make a buck off of left-wingers' self-imposed loneliness. It just, doesn't that warm your heart, Bill? Doesn't that make you feel good about the possibilities, the potentialities of being an American, even with all the rules and regulations and the cronyism that we suffer under these days, that there's still a way to make a buck off of that. And capitalism rules. Capitalism rules the heart.
The second we put this camera down, I'm subscribing to Lux. I cannot wait for the first.
Oh, it's going to be great. I'm going to download. Is it an app or a website?
Lux is the upcoming glossy.
Okay.
Named after Ruxaloza.
Okay, but it's Red Yenta.
But Red Yenta is the actual dating site for socialists.
Yeah, if it's an app, I'm going to download the app. If it's a website, I'm going to go to the website, and I'm going to do screen caps, and I'm going to blog about it, and it's going to be amazingly good fun. Because I'm assuming all the ads are going to be more or less the same as the one you just read.
Oh, yes, indeed.
The reason why somebody's going to get rich off of this is socialists are lonely. If you look at the record of socialist countries, they have horrendous marriage rates, they have horrendous divorce rates, they have horrendous birth rates. In other words, everybody is sad and lonely and childless. And this is the app that's going to fix that somehow by bringing these people even closer together. I'm just going to say I'm glad somebody's making a buck off it and leave it at that.
Scott, I'm going to give you an example of somebody who is looking to find that timeless soul comrade that they can be with for the rest of their life. So. Tell me if this appeals to you. I think this is a woman. Tall, tired communists seeking friends, casual datings, likes, citrus fruit, weird music, using progressive stack to cut men off at meetings. I can tell you that I'm sold. You had me sold at tired.
Hey, if I'm thinking about dating somebody, you had me at cut something off of men. I mean, I think that's the kind of phrase you need to be cautious about when you're trying to advertise for a male companion. But who's to say that they're actually looking for a male or that they are a female? And I'm not somebody to impose my own cisgendered view on who they are or what they should be. This is just kind of the most wonderful thing I've ever heard. There is a certain charming nature to progressives who are going to make the world a better place by doing just exactly the opposite of what could possibly make the world a better place. I mean, if they were really wise, they would do what, Jim Carville and Mary Madeline did, which is they'd find somebody who's their polar opposite so that they might have a relationship where they're doing something more than staring in the mirror and listening to the echo off the wall of their own voice. It is sad to think, and I know a lot of people have this view that, this is kind of an app that I'm going to dub edissonance.com. And this is, it's like if you're looking for your dearth of soulmate, and this is the emptiness of it, the vacuity of it, that somehow the person you're looking for is going to be the person who can stomach your inane, incessant ranting about politics at all times. I don't know about you, but that wasn't ever what I was looking for, even though I have relatively strong political views now. It never occurs to me in the nature, in the connection with a friendship, that I should evaluate people based on their political views. I deal with people all day long, every day, both colleagues and people who are customers in our enterprise at work, and that is never a barrier. And I had a customer last week who had a purse, a handbag that was completely covered with magazine covers, pictures of magazine covers of Barack and Michelle Obama. Had a lovely time with her, had a wonderful conversation. She was a sweet lady, and at no point was there any tension because of her obvious, literally wear it on her sleeve kind of politics. Because that's not how real people are. And I think that the developer of Red Yenta, while I really wish they would become filthy rich so that they could understand the confiscatory nature of government taxing and the destructive nature of government regulation that will sap the lifeblood from the Red Yenta business, I don't think they're going to become wealthy because nobody is really going to swipe left. Nobody really is looking for that. And the people who do find their leftist buddy out there somewhere quickly find that they're miserable and need to find somebody else. And it's kind of a sad thing.
Well, here's what concerns me as a potential investor in Red Yenta in terms of the management team. It was developed by two women, Marissa Brostoff, 33, grad student at CUNY, and Mindy Iser, 28, an organizer.
My Red Yenta app just rang. I'm sorry. You've got a 33-year-old
grad student, and that's a lot of grad studies, frankly.
Yes.
14 years of college down the drain. And you've got two people who don't have jobs, apparently, trying to set up this business. So as a man who's very careful with where I put my major investments, that does raise some red flags for me, if you'll pardon the expression. Now, there are two things here that I think are actually interesting in a larger political sense, or at least a moral sense. In the political sense, They recently did a survey of young feminist women, radical feminists, social justice warriors. And in a nutshell, they asked them, what do you think about the completely woke guys who are with you, holding up your fists in solidarity and chanting behind the lines, and stuff? Are you guys forming relationships? And they found that the most radical women of all thought that these guys just didn't generate enough heat to, light a 30-watt light bulb in the basement of somebody's socialist meeting hall. They don't care. They're not interested in these males who are trying to show how beta they are in order to get lucky. It doesn't work that way. It just doesn't work that way. And the good news for us as conservatives is if that is true, and it appears to be true, then you can't beat the biology out of people. Basically what you're saying is the people that are calling for an end to toxic masculinity are really looking for guys that are filled with toxic masculinity, because that's biology. So there's that. So if you're one of these guys who's really, got a crush on a really hot feminist, instead of trying to find as much granola as you could possibly chew, I strongly recommend you go find yourself an AR-15, learn how to shoot it, take her to the range, and if you're going to have any chance, I'm telling you, trust me on this one, that's it. So from the biology point of view, there's that. But there's also a larger social issue. Obviously, there are some pathetic, many pathetic, ads for people out in every other one of these websites. But as a person who dated most of Los Angeles before I finally found my wife, I can tell you something interesting about this. Scott really hit it on the head. If you're talking about something like Match.com, you meet people with a variety of interests, one of which may be politics, but a variety of interests. I think if you go to places like JDate, which is just exclusively Jewish dating, or conservative dating, or socialist dating, or anime dating, or anything like that, all you're gonna find are one-dimensional people who, like you, have one dimension to yourself, and it's small wonder that these things do not generate an awful lot of romance and an awful lot of sparks. A lot of times it's the difference. A lot of time it's the learning something new from somebody who thinks differently than you do. So I do actually take solace in the fact that a bunch of tall, tired communists meet in a studio in Brooklyn and complain that there are not enough beta males out there for them to date, including apparently this last guy who basically says 38, he's a he/him, he likes women, Maoism, and Star Trek. And I can assure you with moral certainty that this fella is over 200 pounds.
No
That's
James
the only
T.
thing I know
Kirk.
about the guy. In any event, just another example of the strange sort of pride you get by being on the right side of things. I'm being on the side of people with actual lives and loves and marriages and happiness and freedom and, capitalism and all the other things that make life worth living. That'll do it for this edition of Right Angle, brought to you by the paying members at BillWhittle.com. You should migrate over there. We got some big surprises in store, mostly courtesy of Mr. Scott Ott, or as we like to call him, Hercules. And he's doing a great job. So take a look, and we'd love to have you as citizen producers. That's how this show stays on the air. And we will see you next week on Right Angle.